Yeah. Hey. Drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.
All right, welcome to the Lockdown Coverage podcast of Prime Coverage Sports Network. My name is Jim Weglars, aka Wegs. You can follow me on X and on Instagram at Wegspool. Sean, I'm giving you the nickname The Scout, by the way. Sean the Scout. Davis.
I haven't had a new nickname in 20 years. I love it.
Well, it's about time. Go ahead, Sean. Introduce yourself.
How are you doing, guys? Sean Davidge here. Follow me on Facebook at Sean.Davidge or on Twitter /X, whatever you prefer, at Sean Davidge. How you doing tonight, Denzel?
I'm good, and you can follow me at Denzel Smith on Facebook and on Instagram at Windy City Kid.
That's right. He's already.
How about his nickname?
Well, he's already got Windy City Kid up there. I can't change it. I mean, I might think about it. He's got the magic microphone. That's for sure. Follow the network on PCSN Media on X and Prime Coverage Sports Network on Facebook and Instagram. So how you guys doing? Did you have a good weekend? We talked a little bit off air about my Vegas exploits. I want to hear about you guys. You guys probably did some fun stuff too. Did you guys watch tournament games, or what were you guys up to?
It's really all I could do while I was I had my vehicle in the repair shop, so I had nowhere to go but stay home and watch some games. So got my fill of tournament action. I don't have a great looking bracket anymore, unfortunately, but so is March Madness, I guess. That's why I like it.
That's right. How about you, Zell? What were you up to?
Same thing. Watch March Madness, both March Madnesses. And pretty interesting, and I'm looking forward to all the Sweet 16 matchups from both men and the women. So there's a lot going on there. And ESPN's giving out a second bracket chance. So I'm gonna try to do my best with that one.
Yeah, much better. Yeah, I run a big pool, but I'm not doing so well. It's always bad when I got like 150 people in there, 154. I'm probably like 85th, which is pretty bad, right in the middle. But when your dad is like 9th and he's always chirping, the guy doesn't watch basketball all year, and he's like, I'm in 9th place. I'm the greatest. I'm like, okay. He always picks the favorites. He did get hit a little bit with Florida, but he didn't have them winning the title or anything like that. So,
I know how it is wanting to beat family in a bracket challenge. I do it every year.
He offers $100 to anybody who can beat him. He's gotten lucky the last couple of years, but when the chalk hits, he always does well. When there's some upsets, he doesn't do well. So, but anyway, everybody's here to listen to football, NFL stuff. It's kind of off season, but we want to get ready for some things coming up. Today, we're going to talk about the latest news that's hit the street on contracts, retirements, talk a little bit about free agency, player safety, and then we'll start our NFL draft breakdown, which we'll kind of go team by team throughout the league. This week, we'll do AFC and NFC East teams, what we think their needs are, how they address for free agency, and then what they still have gaps for the draft coming up. So kind of a full show, guys. I hope you guys are ready. You guys ready?
Let's go.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's first talk about, the money man, JSN. The man got paid. We know Zell's a big Seattle fan. So what do we think about the contract? 4 years, $168 million extension. Obviously, he earned it. He was an incredible player last year. $120 million guaranteed. I tell you, that's a nice payday for that man. All pro and everything. I'll start with you, Zell. Are you excited about the contract? Do you think that, just a little too much, or what's your take on it?
Well, nowadays, my take on it is he's the perfect wide receiver for his team, because the last few years we had a DK Metcalf, and, we had Tyler Lockett, and JSN wasn't underperforming, but he wasn't getting as many touches as he could. So with them two being gone, he saw his opportunity to shine, and he did a pretty damn good job at it. And he showed out this year, and it paid off in the Super Bowl run, and I think he deserves it. And them locking him in for this deal, they're saying, hey, he's our star wide receiver. We're going to go with him. And that's mainly it.
Mm-hmm. He certainly earned it for this year. Sean, what is your take?
Well, first off, I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit. He was one of my first 2 fantasy picks this year. That helped me three-peat in my league. But as far as his contract goes, you see the market reset all the time with these new deals. There's going to be a record-breaking deal every year, it seems, these days. But JSN did earn it. He's maybe the biggest reason Seattle was able to go all the way this year, on the whole. And, well, let's see what this does to future salary cap problems for Seattle. But for now, JSN was rewarded with a contract he did deserve. So I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at the list. He's the highest paid receiver now. And as we said, obviously was the best last year. Some guys will be coming up soon. Pook will be coming up in next year. And so there's always escalation. I did see DK on there, by the way, Zell. He's still like 8th or 7th or 8th, so he's still getting paid decent money. But my biggest concern is in the long run, as long as they keep it to one receiver. We've talked about this in the past. When you try to pay 2 guys big money, usually it just leaves not enough money to go around for your defense, especially if you have a quarterback. They're kind of on a friendly deal with Darnold. We talked about him getting some money, but he's not getting paid like top of the market. So right now it seems like they're managing their salary cap well, even though they gave him this big money. Let's talk about Kelsey. Originally I thought they were just giving him a 1-year deal. So now it's a 3-year deal. I know that they restructured it, so it helps it a lot. Okay, we got Marcus, but a good comment. I like it. Highest paid doesn't make you the best. Do you think GSN is better than Justin Jefferson? Great question, Marcus. Thanks for chiming in. I'm gonna let Zell answer first, since this is his squad. You're kind of taking shots right away.
You set me up.
Team. I didn't put this in. Marcus put it in. He's setting you up. So
Marcus,
what do you think? You think he's better than Justin?
Well,
I'll keep it up.
He has a ring, so I can't. Hey, he
Ooh,
has a ring.
That's a shot.
He has a ring. So, and we traded quarterbacks. We didn't trade quarterbacks. You let the quarterback go. So, hey, that quarterback brought him a ring. So I'm happy with it. But hey, he got the highest contract and he has a ring. Justin Jefferson doesn't have a ring. So
there you go.
Hey, neither does Randy Moss. Are you saying he's better than Randy?
I'm not saying he's better than Randy.
Okay,
Randy's in the Hall of Fame, but right now, I think Justin hit the 1,000 mark last year too. I think I want to say, but
he did.
Yeah, but as of right now, JSN is the best because he has a ring. So I'm going to leave it at
Marcus
that.
is on fire. He's coming back with us. He says Kenneth Walker was the MVP. That's true. Kenneth Walker was the MVP, but we all know the offensive lines. Yeah, one game. Yeah, and I had this debate with Dalton, my podcast partner, another podcast, and it's like, look, he got him there. He had that 150-yard game against the Rams that got them over the top, and they obviously took all the coverage in the Super Bowl. Kenneth Walker did play a great game. Kenneth Walker's out of town now too. What else we got? Nobody tops Moss. Okay, Silas. I don't disagree with you.
I knew he was going to weigh in.
You think he's better? You think Moss? This is a good conversation. You think Moss is better than Jerry Rice? Is that what we're saying?
Talent-wise, maybe, but obviously Rice is more achieved.
Production,
more achieved.
And T.O. is in that. But what's your go ahead, Sean? You do the top 3. And you think Moss, Rice, Moss, then T.O., or what are we talking about here all time?
T.O. would be third, I think, between the 3 of those guys. Moss and Rice, you have an argument, really solid argument for both of them being the greatest of all time. Rice is obviously more achieved, as we just said. I do think Moss had more talent, though. It's a shame he couldn't end his career with a ring.
Yeah, he almost did. They were almost undefeated.
Almost.
So I agree with Marcus's comment here.
Do you agree, Marcus, with this hierarchy right now? Rice, Moss, T.O.
It's Rice, Moss, and T.O. because we all know Jerry Rice is a fantastic wide receiver. Like Sean said, he's most achieved, and he went to another team that won a ring as well. So let's not forget about that. And Randy Moss, he almost had a ring, but we all know the Eli Manning situation. And
Everybody
then
has their kryptonite.
yeah, and then T.O., we all know T.O. is a fantastic wide receiver, but he had issues with his quarterback, and they went to the Super Bowl, and that didn't work out for them either. So, but at the end of the day,
shut his mouth
Marcus
sometimes.
is firing some takes. Megatron fourth. Look, I think Megatron, in terms of like just pure ability, probably like the top of the food chain, but production, he retired too early, right? I mean, I just feel like he retired too early to be considered the fourth best, but that's just my take.
You think of him and Barry Sanders, both retired with probably still a lot left in the tank. Goes to show you what Detroit was like back in the day.
We've got so many. Megatron was boss. Okay,
he was.
We got another Megatron vote. Okay, well, let's talk about the guys today, though. I mean, obviously, we're talking about money. Yeah. We're talking about money. We're not talking about best. And I understand what Marcus said initially. But if you had JSN, Justin Jefferson, and obviously, Chase, those are probably the top three guys right now. So who would you take to start the franchise? It starts with you, Sean, because you obviously have one of them in your backyard.
Yeah. Well, JSN, it was easy for him to claim the spotlight because of the very inconsistent play from the Vikings quarterback position last year. It meant JJ didn't see the ball a lot, and his production obviously went down because of it. JSN, he got what he deserved with the spotlight and the money and everything like that. I'd still put Jefferson over him in terms of talent. So, but between those three guys, I'd still put JJ at the top.
Okay. What do you think, Zal? You gonna protect your guy?
Who was the three? Jefferson.
Yeah. I said Jefferson, Chase, and JSN.
Yeah.
JSN has a ring over both of them.
No, we're back to that argument.
But if I'm being for real, if I start a franchise, I'm gonna go with Justin, just because of he's a fantastic athlete, and the catches when he first came in the league, he was doing fantastic, and that guy can get you some touchdowns and some yards if you need it, but he needs a quarterback for that. And in the past, he has had quarterbacks that has made him more, his game more, off on the offense, more flashy. So you need a right quarterback to go with a right receiver.
Right.
That's correct. And that's why his production was obviously so off last year.
Mm-hmm. What I would say is, and they're all great players, I think JSN is the best route runner of the three, personally. I think Justin's got the crazy catch radius. He's a taller player. And I would say Chase after the catch is the best. So they all have different skill sets.
Yep.
Certainly would pick any of those guys on my squad, but we'll see. It's good conversation. I like the comments. Let's talk about Kelsey now. As we said last week, I thought it was just a 1-year deal, but it's a 3-year deal for $54.7 million. The first year is kind of interesting. So $12 million plus $3 million in incentives. This is kind of interesting. I saw something this week that he makes like $36 million off the field anyway. So who really cares? Do you think this is really just a 1-year deal, though? I mean, he's not going to play 3 years out. I mean, this is just structuring. So he gets a little money maybe in year 2 if he signs. I mean, I can't imagine he's going to be on the team in 3 years. What do you think? The scout. What does the scout say, Sean?
Remind me to change my social media name to include that nickname. But I'm not sure what the full terms of the contract are. I wonder if it would include one of those opt-out deals to maybe save the Chiefs some money in the long run. I don't see him playing 3 years either, especially because, well, first off, he's up there in age. His production's not going to exactly escalate. Second off, he's engaged to the most popular singer in the world. She might have a say in how long he plays. But I imagine it's a team-friendly contract for how big it is. But I don't see him playing the 3 years either. I agree with you.
So what about the question Marcus posed about Kelsey? Will Kelsey win one more trophy before he retires, which probably means this year?
I don't see it happening this year unless Mahomes miraculously comes back within the first month, maybe month and a half, which is doubtful in my opinion.
Right.
But maybe he believes it'll happen within those 3 years. Maybe that's why he signed for that deal.
Right. What do you think, Zell? Well, you can answer either question. First of all, do you think it's really a 3-year deal or it's more just a 1-year deal to kind of push some salary out? And then secondly, do you think you'll win another ring?
First, I love Travis. 2 years ago, I picked him for my fantasy team, and he balled out, and he won me $350. So I was happy about that. But now age is catching up to him, and he's not like how he is. He's 36, going to be 37 next year, and he's going to be 37 this year. Okay, 37 this year. Birthday's in October, so I think it's really a 1-year deal. I think the 2 extra years are in case he decides if he wants to play more, because last year was kind of tough for him. He dealt with injuries and then he dealt with not receiving as many touchdowns as he normally would. And the Chiefs, can they win one more before Chelsea retire? I don't know. The AFC West is tough right now.
Mm-hmm. I was just about to say that.
Mahomes has to be the Mahomes he was all them years he was when he won Super Bowl MVP and all them rings. And we told people, stop sending the Chiefs to the Super Bowl, please. But if Mahomes gets that back after his injury that he received last year, and if the offense and the defense can really play how they were 2 years ago with newer people coming in, then maybe them 2 years might be a ring year for them. But we'll have to see because the NFL the landscape is changing.
It is.
Well, clearly Kelsey likes to compete given that tough division, so we'll give him credit there.
I do think that the Chiefs have reloaded a little bit. Obviously they got Walker. Who else they got? They got another receiver. They seem to be trying to compete. So it's not out of the question if Mahomes can come back this year to be right in there. I still think he's probably the best player in the NFL when he's healthy. So we'll see. The defense, they have the same coaching staff. There's changes elsewhere, but they just have to. It's a much tougher road than it was 2 years ago, basically. But great question. I'll get to your question, Silas, in a minute. I like the question. Levante David retired, I guess today, or made a press conference today from the Bucs. Longtime linebacker for the Bucs, won a couple, one Super Bowl there. I think he won 1, not 2. So he did really well there. This is a minor thing. Andy Dalton to Philly, whoop-de-doo. But I guess they're going to be their backup there for a 7th rounder. This kind of emergency policy certainly isn't the same player as Hurts or Tanner McKee for that matter. But let's hit the news. Sean, you wanted to talk about Cousins and Rodgers, and so that they're still kind of holding out to make a decision, a discussion decision. So, what are your takes on that?
Well, first off, I think we all know what Rodgers is doing. He's biding his time for his own entertainment.
Yes,
because he's done that more than once, and
of course so.
As far as Kirk Cousins goes, maybe he's pondering retirement. If he's taking this long, to ponder his next move in the NFL, he has to decide, is he okay with being a backup? Possibly, because that may be one of his only options now. I doubt he's going to have, he's not going to be handed an opportunity to start no matter where he signs. So, maybe he's pondering his future. Maybe he's decided he's had enough. We'll see.
Well, he didn't get offered the Arizona job, so that was probably the one we talked about, and maybe the Steelers. Zell, what do you think's going on with these two guys?
Like Sean said, Aaron Rodgers is playing the long game again.
Always.
Come on, man. You see the Steelers need a quarterback, and since Mike Tomlin's not there anymore, you want to prolong it because your old coach is there. So I
Right.
don't know what he's feeling right now because either you're going to sign there or they're going to go with what they have. And you really going to be retired, because there's not a lot of open availability for quarterbacks.
Mhm.
Like I said two shows ago, there's not a lot of availability for that. And Sean's right about him holding out because we've seen time and time. He hold out for contract extensions and all this. And he just likes to do this because he's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he's
On the other
hijacking.
hand, Kirk Cousins, he has a lot of money. He doesn't really have to play football ever again. Like,
Right.
he can just sit down because nobody's interested, man. You went to Atlanta, you played there for like 2 years, and they benched you the first year. Come on, man. They benched you the first year. So what does that tell you? That they wasn't ready to go with their future with you. They just signed you to
Right.
big money because of your name, what you did in Minnesota, which was good. He did the same thing in Washington when RG3 went down.
For sure.
That started the you like that moment, and that's when everybody started messing with Kirk Cousins. I know who Kirk Cousins was in Michigan State. He was a pretty good
Right.
quarterback
Yep.
there too. But
Right.
time moves on, and he has a lot of money, so he doesn't have to play another down or ride the bench. He could just go home.
I mean,
And that's why I think he's pondering his future as we speak. It may be a while before he decides.
the bottom line is Phillip Rivers played last year, guys. I mean, there's going to be an opportunity in week 6, in week 8. The summer, they're going to say, "Hey, Kirk, you want to come on over because we got our injured guy. We would still have a chance to make the playoffs." So, as you said, I always tease this. He's got that Cole's cash. He's got Cole's cash in the vault. He can just sit on that all day long. The guy doesn't need the money. He wears those nice Cole's shirts, but he'll be called at some point during the season to, be on a team, and if he wants a paycheck, and maybe it's a team that's got a chance that's on the verge. I mean, last year wasn't too bad. Like, he played okay. He kind of played better than Penix in some ways. I mean, he got the ball to the players. That's what he needed to do, get it to Bijan. But anyway, good discussion. Another minor signing, Brian Robinson is to the Falcons. 1 year, $2.5 million. What are you going to say? I do want to pop this up. Quick question. CeeDee Lamb is a good player, but we could talk about that. More about this question about Hopkins. Would he be a good fit for the Minnesota Vikings for his comments that Murray is playing for the Vikings this year? Is that a possibility? I haven't heard that. Hopkins is at the end of his career. Obviously, he's been trying to chase a ring, been bouncing around. Solid. I mean, great player, obviously. I think Lamb is a good player. I think those other guys are a little higher up to me. That's my take on that part. But, yeah, Hopkins in Minnesota, what do you think? Sean, we'll start with you. That's your home team.
Yep. And that's my homie right there asking our questions.
Okay.
They won't be able to afford Lamb. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't. But seeing as
I think Lamb, he just wants to know if he's in the top 3 conversation with the receivers we were talking about.
I think Hopkins would welcome coming here. He's played with Murray before.
Sure.
It depends on how much money Hopkins wants because, the Vikings have to be careful with their money they spend going forward. Depends on how much he would want. He would obviously be a 3 option at best, maybe 2 if he outplays Jordan Addison, who, his days with the Vikings might be numbered. Maybe Hopkins will be that guy for a little longer, be a good 1-2 punch. But if he does sign, he won't be anything more than a 3 at the time. So we'll see. And it depends on how much money he wants and how long he wants to be here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Zoe?
The what about Lamb is funny because I didn't even think about CeeDee Lamb. That's how the Cowboys throw you off, man, because we don't even think about the Cowboys like that in the offseason.
Afterthought, yeah.
Tell that's a tip.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Well,
this used to be a Cowboys podcast when I started. There were 2 Cowboys guys on here. But what about the fit with Hopkins in with Minnesota? Do you think
I heard them comments this past week, and I think he'll be a great fit in Minnesota with Kyler Murray because they played together when he was in Arizona, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. But at the same time, Jordan Addison's on his way out. So
Yeah.
he's already in social media acting a fool. He wants to come to Chicago. I heard he wants to come to Chicago to play with his old quarterback, Caleb Williams.
Sure.
But, you got to fit in with the system, because if you don't fit in with the system, you're going to be another DJ Moore. Not to say
That's
DJ
right.
Moore was bad, but,
Right.
it happens. But him going to Minnesota, I could see him, like Sean saying, being a 3 or a 2, but really a 3, because they're going to need another person to come in at the 2 to be a good route runner and
Sure.
take the load off of Justin. So he'll be a good 3 receiver, and I think his production will go up from what he did in Baltimore, which he really wasn't seeing the ball.
Yeah, I mean, they just didn't throw enough. I think they'll throw a lot more in Minnesota. So he's got that. He can catch that ball, as Silas just said. He can definitely catch that ball.
And red zone receiver is a good point, because there were times last year where the Vikings really struggled putting together drives at the end, especially late in the season.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we'll talk about, obviously as the season approaches, if it's a real competition between JJ or Murray, but in the end, you got to have guys that can get the ball in the end zone, make plays near the red zone. Hopkins has done that his whole career. So let's talk also about the player safety. So, Zell, I'm not super familiar with this because I was busy, drinking at the pool. So there was a flag football competition this weekend, and what happened, and why is this an issue for player safety?
So I'm on social media, so I looked up a flag football competition, Tom Brady, Logan Paul, and I see some NFL players that are playing flag football, and I'm just like, is it in your contract or what is happening here? Because I see Jalen Hurts out there.
Okay.
I see Odell Beckham. Odell's out there making plays, and he hasn't played last year.
Sure.
And I see Joe Burrow with a spin move that was questionable, and it looked like it was going to be an injury, but it wasn't. And I was just like, oh wow, Cincinnati would have been mad if you would have got injured in this flag football game. Like,
Burrow hasn't had 2 full seasons, and I guess he did a year before he had a full season, but 2 out of the last 3 he's been missing half the season.
Yeah, and then you had this is when I talk about player safety. Rob Gronkowski, he catches the ball and he gets a hamstring injury and has to exit the game. And I know, football players want to have fun in the off season and everything. And, they want to do activities. Even Jalen Daniels was there. And we just know he's been injury prone for the whole half of the season.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, is there safety protocols for is there binds and contracts for these injuries, and how would it affect them going into the new season and the training camps? Because I'm not gonna lie, it was fun to watch that. But at the same time, if I'm an owner or a general manager or an agent, and the general manager and the owner is gonna hit me up like, why is our player out there, doing routes, catching all this, and he can have an injury, and that could be an infraction in his contract.
Yeah, it's not. The Pro Bowl. It's not the Pro Bowl, which is a flag football thing too. This is just whatever for charity or something.
Mm-hmm.
Usually there is stuff in there. It also says you can't be doing skydiving and all that other stuff because, you're obviously vital goods to the organization. So they play at their own risk. By the way, just a little aside. Did you know that Travis Kelce is older than Rob Gronkowski? I know that sounds crazy to say, but he is.
I would not have guessed that.
I would not have guessed that.
So the fact he's pulling a hammy, well, that's why Kelce wasn't out there. He's smart. He's a smart older guy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Saquon and Devontae Adams was out there too. So this is interesting.
My gosh.
This is interesting. I have never seen these.
What was it for? What was it for a charity? What was it?
And Devontae Smith and Stephon Diggs. This is interesting. Okay.
They really brought a whole group of people out there. It was a real all-star game.
The game was the crowd was packed, so it's like a all-star charity game for a football team. But they was considering, because flag football is going to be an Olympic sport in the next 2 years.
Yes, that's
so
true.
they was really trying to find out if they should use NFL players for flag football.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll find a way to do that. As a longtime flag football guy myself, and now I'm 52, I haven't played since I was 49. Yeah, that's the first thing that goes. You pop that hammy. If you're not warm out there, you pop that hammy, that calf. It's a long recovery period, especially for the older players. So, any takes on this, Sean?
I like that Zell brought this up. You see it happen sometimes with players, freak injuries during the offseason, whether it's flag football like this or even pickup basketball games.
Sure.
Athletes are so desperate to stay in shape, they'll do anything to stay in shape during the offseason. Sometimes they'll take it a little too far. Flag football during the offseason, maybe with limitations, because if you do get hurt, you hurt your team's chances during the regular season when it counts the most. So maybe you won't see this enforced with like CBA or anything like that, but I don't know. Maybe for some players it should be necessary for them to, not do something this frugal during an off season when you're, especially a key part of your team.
Right. I was just saying, Jason Pierre-Paul blew his fingers off. I mean, that wasn't a game, but you got to be careful out there.
4th of July.
Well, that was just dumb, but you mentioned that flag football games. Tom Brady was playing too, and he was still slinging it around like he was in his 30s.
You know he can throw it. It's not about that. Just can he take another hit? You know what I mean?
Yeah. By far walked away.
Are you trying to say that Tom Brady's coming back, Sean? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I'm just saying that he can probably still throw it better than anybody who's in the league these days. Even if he doesn't have the strength to go on.
I think there's two things holding him up. He's got a pretty good deal with, what is it, CBS or
Fox?
CBS?
Yeah, it's Fox.
And Fox. And then
Fox paying him a lot of money.
He's also part owner of the Raiders, isn't he? So I don't think he can come back except for the Raiders. He can put himself in there if Mendoza gets hurt.
Oh, God.
See, look at that. That's what they call transitions, though. The draft. Let's talk draft. Look at that, Mendoza. So I just wanted to start this kind of series because it's like 4.5 weeks, 5 weeks to the draft, right? So it's about a month away. And so what I want to do is kind of go team by team and just talk about who's got what we're thinking we're doing. And we'll start division by division. So we'll start this week. We'll just do AFC and NFC East and just kind of run it down. And every week we'll do kind of the paired divisions. And then I figured what might maybe for fun, we could do a mock draft the Tuesday before the draft on Thursday, just so we can, kind of take turns picking through that. I think that'd be fun. So I'll start at the top. Patriots in the AFC East. They actually have a ton of picks. I don't know if you guys knew this.
Yeah.
12 picks. I mean, the rich get richer, I guess, because they had made some good trades. Obviously, they pick at the back end of a lot of the rounds, but they've got a lot of value here. And they have some needs, but they've addressed some needs. They've got their offensive line. They did get Vera Tucker, and they've got Dobbs at wide receiver. But I still think the offense probably could use another playmaker. Definitely get some depth at the offensive line because we all know Will Campbell was a turnstile last year. As we were talking, he was just kind of spinning around and around. And then on defense, they just need better pass rush. I mean, I think they were pretty good. Their corners seem good, but they did pick up Jones from Baltimore for the pass rush and Vildor from Tampa Bay. They got Byard for safety, but I think they still probably can get better. What do you guys see when you look at the Patriots? First of all, they got a lot of picks. What do you think they're going to do with them? And secondly, are there other needs that we haven't talked about here that they need to address? Let's start with the scout, Sean.
I think they need to go with O-line first. Your franchise centerpiece is behind you under center. I think they need to address O-line first. That's just my opinion. And then maybe another guy at receiver to pair up with Dobbs next. Otherwise, they're not going to be back in the Super Bowl for a while. You need to protect your quarterback. And the way that team was overwhelmed in the trenches, that raises so many red flags. So that's why, for me, they need to address the O-line first.
Okay. What do you think, Zell? Do you think they'll still address some defense in this draft in addition to the offensive line?
Talking about this team. I'm just playing. But
you guys beat
yeah.
them. You guys beat them silly, but they do have a lot of picks to fortify.
Yeah, like Sean said, I think they need more help on the offensive line because we were killing them. We was getting sacks on, the quarterback. I keep forgetting his name because that's how forgettable he is. Like
he didn't see him too much. He was buried under an avalanche of Seahawks every other play.
Yeah, but yeah, they need protection at the O line, and they need help at that wide receiver position. Like Dobbs, pretty decent signing, but you still need more wide receivers, to help out. And the defense, they're good with their defense, but they really need more pass rushers. And they got a decent signing in Vildor from Tampa, and they got one of our safeties, Bard from Chicago. He's pretty good at his position. But, that offensive line is really where it needs it at, and they need help on the wide receiver. They're good at running backs, but I think they need that offensive line so that running backs can get more leadway per se. But other than that, they have a lot of picks. They can do a lot of trades, or they can get whoever they want to get for whatever they get.
And that's why it's valuable to have stock like they do. The fact that this was the only receiver they signed, that tells me they're going to target a receiver in the draft. It's just a matter of when. And do they go for defense before receiver? We'll see.
Well, they have all those kind of 4th and 6th round picks, like you said. They could package up a couple of those, move up a few spots to grab somebody. I expect them to do that, especially they have picks in every round, which is nice. You'll see some of the other teams don't, so they can definitely kind of help swap with some people, make things happen. But I kind of going into after last year, I'm kind of your mindset. It's gonna the Patriots, they get lucked out in the schedule. We know that they weren't that good. There was no Mahomes, blah, blah, blah. But I look at all those draft picks, and they made some decent signings. I think they got a shot to be good again. Maybe not as good, but they can be good again. So
it's going to be a 2-headed race in that division for a few years. Patriots, Bills, no question.
Exactly. So that's what we call a transition, Zell. Look at this guy. Sean's learning. So Bills, they have 7 picks in this draft. Pick in the latter half again. They don't have a 2nd-round pick, which I thought was interesting. They don't have a ton of picks compared to the other teams in their division. They did get DJ Moore's the big signing, of course. They still need offensive line depth, even though that's been one of their strengths. I just think they can always get more impact wide receivers, even though Moore is good. He's at the back end of his career, so they could get a young guy. On defense, pass rush, they landed Chubb, who's good, again, back half of his career. They got Alford from Falcons for the cornerback position, but who knows? I just think this team, they got Gardner Johnson for strong safety, but they need more run stopping. They got run on last year more often than not, and I still think they need a younger pass rusher. So, Zell, I'll go to you first. What do you think this team needs the most?
So from the looks of it, offense always plays a good part. And from last year, like I said 2 weeks ago, the Bills, they need more weapons on offense for Josh Allen to get where he needs to go, because everybody's, getting upgrades and they're getting sneaky draft picks that are good. For this team to succeed, and they got a new arena stadium that they're playing in.
Yeah.
And they need help on the offensive tip. Their defense always been stellar, but offensive wise, they went and got DJ Moore. But their wide receivers, they got a decent group of wide receivers. They have Khalil, they have Keon Coleman, who I have seen on social media improving. So we can only see from that if he does what he does this season, because he was getting a lot of attention because the owner didn't want him. So that's strange,
I thought they're going to cut him for sure. He made those comments.
I kind of thought that too. And then you have Joshua Palmer, you have Curtis Samuel,
Sure.
and they also signed Nicole Hardman. So they got some decent pickups. But
That's guys.
but can those guys be the guy for Josh Allen? They have to see in training camp and in OTAs.
That's right. Sean?
Brilliant point you made up with the receivers. Okay depth, I would say, decent depth. But did any of those guys really jump out at you as a go-to guy, just the guy, as you see in some other offenses? That's what I think the Bills lack. I think they need a real star, to take pressure off some of these guys who haven't really made as big a name for themselves. And offense is clearly the Bills' identity. You think of Josh Allen first. You think of what he needs to have around him. So it's going to be interesting to see how they approach the draft, what they decide is lacking most first. I would say they probably target O-line maybe in the middle of the draft for more depth purposes. Maybe let's see if they I would see them picking up a receiver or one of those edge rushers first that they need.
Yeah, to me, it's got to be pass rush. I mean, they've tried this with Von Miller. They get Joey Bosa, the kind of the guys at the very end of their career to try to be that impact rusher. How about a young guy? How about a young guy can get after it, that can, get 10 sacks and just kind of maybe not be a game wrecker because they're picking so late, but they're going to have to get more pressure. I mean, in the end, the defense is what's failed them in the last couple of years, especially in critical situations. And that's usually
a young guy you can develop.
Right. John, you already mentioned that the bottom half is pretty bad. I mean, the Finns have obviously stockpiled picks. We talked about a rebuilding. We know that they've got 11 picks. They've got 2 picks in the first round. They've got all these picks in the third round. A ton of picks, four in the third round, right? So they're certainly going to get their picks. They're going to, obviously they got Willis. They really don't have. I don't consider Atwell and Tolbert like premium wide receiver signings. So to me, they're going to have to get a wide receiver in this mix. They pick 11, they pick 30. They'll probably get somebody in that range. I guess the tight end is okay. Dolchich is fine. The pass rush, again, Uchi is a fine signing. Corners, Baker's okay. So, the defense was pretty bad to me. Their offense, I just think this offense is going to change fundamentally of what we thought of the Dolphins have been the last 3-4 years. I think they're going to run the ball more, but they certainly need a good receiver that can possess the ball. In fact, even though DJ probably wants to play on a winner, DJ Moore would have been a great guy for these guys to get a possession kind of over the middle guy. So obviously they need a ton of needs. I just put everything in this one. Sean, what do you think they're going to do with their first few picks in this one?
Well, they do need a defensive player for sure. And think about it this way, from Malik Willis's perspective, he's finally getting a chance to lead a team on his own. And because of that, you need a receiver you can build trust with, somebody who's fresh, who wants to make his name in the league. That's why they need to draft a receiver early like they do too. So many team needs, so much needs to be invested in this team for them to even be more than an afterthought in this league again. But defense and receiver, clearly what they need to address with the topmost picks they have, and then focus on other team needs with the picks they have remaining. And I can see it making a few trades to draft higher as well too.
Sure. Zell?
Like Sean said, they need everything. They need everything. I can't even name one guy off this team except for Malik Willis and Devon. Like, come on, man. Like, they got rid of everybody in the offseason. Got a new coach. I don't even know who your coach is. But it's Miami. They've been a franchise like they've been like this.
Green Bay Dolphins.
They've been like this for a long time, and they need everything. Maybe in the draft they can find some decent wide receivers, some good defense, but they're always going to be at the bottom in the AFC East next to the Jets. Hopefully the Jets can pull themselves out this year, but I'm not even going to talk about them.
They're just an embarrassment.
You want to skip the Jets? The Jets are next. Come on. They got 8 picks. They got the second pick in the draft.
Yep.
They also have the 16th pick. They actually kind of lack some middle round depth. They don't have any third round picks from what I can see. They've got some fourth round. They got fourth round picks. They need a lot of things too. Like you guys said, I don't want to talk about them, but I don't think their offense is that bad. I mean, they've got good players. We know that. I mean, the guys had to stay; they couldn't get out, right? So Brees Hall stayed. You got the wide receiver. Obviously, they got Geno Smith back. I don't think that's an exciting signing. So they're not going to take Simpson at 2. I don't think they're going to go do that early. But could there be a team that maybe wants somebody to jump up? Or maybe they just wait and take him at 16 or even 33. I mean, if they want to take a chance on the second best quarterback. So I think their defense is where the issues are. They picked Fitzpatrick, who's old. Some other guys that are okay. I think Wright, we talked about him. He's good at corner. He took the bag. He took the bag of cash. I get it. So I just think they're going to have to get better. Definitely on defense first, and then maybe get a quarterback in this draft. You don't want to talk about him, Zell? You're like, forget this. Move to the next team.
No, I'm not saying that. I was just looking like you talk about the Geno Smith pickup. I was seeing who the backup was, and I'm still not impressed with the roster. But
Brady Cook, right? Yeah,
Brady Cook and Billy. Oh man, don't talk about Billy.
They're definitely going to sign a quarterback in this. They're going to draft a quarterback. Just don't know when.
I don't know. Fall from grace. I don't know. Last season was terrible. This season they need a lot of help. I mean, you go back and you go get Geno, who started off there terrible. He was decent at first, but he's old now. He's old now. You saw he didn't do much with the Raiders last year.
Right.
And you go and get him. That was the least disappointing. I was not disappointed, but I was just like, you went and got Geno over a younger quarterback? Like, what kind of sense does that make? But they did some, like you said, Wegs, they did some good pickups on defense that they needed. They got Fitzpatrick, which I'm still shocked by because I know he doesn't want to be there, but he'd rather be there than the Dolphins. So, and then they went out and got Wright. They went out and got Wright, who I think he can, change that cornerback position for them because they didn't have not many picks last year. So they're doing right on defense. They have a defensive-minded coach in Aaron Glenn, but they still need that offense. And this team is still going to be at the bottom. No matter how you put it, they're still going to be at the bottom.
Sean?
Well, like you said, bringing Fitzpatrick there with it. First off, I think it's unheard of that a defense can go in the whole season without intercepting one pass. It's just incredible.
They're going to pick the ball off like the first play of the first game this year. It's just going to be they're going to get one.
Well, and it's going to be probably the loudest thing they cheer for all year. They have nowhere to go but up.
Right.
They do need defensive help badly. They won't waste the second overall pick on a quarterback because unless he was somebody who would start right away, and they obviously want Smith to handle the reins for now because, again, he started his career with them. But while it's not a glorious signing at all, he is certainly more experienced than he was his first time around. So maybe that'll come in handy when they eventually draft a guy who could be the heir apparent for the Jets. And it's going to take a lot to turn this franchise around. So I think defense is their biggest need. They won't pick Simpson right away, but I highly doubt he'll be there at 16 too. So maybe the best available after him.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we do the mock. But no, they'll take a stud, Bailey or Reese. They'll pick. I mean, to me, they're going to get the best player in the draft because Meadows is fine. He's a good player, but he's not the best NFL football player in this draft. So to me, they get the chance to take the best player if they don't screw it up. And that guy could get 10 sacks. I mean, it could be a stud. So
can we count on the Jets to not screw up though?
Well, they could trade out of that position and not do it. You know what I mean? That's what Cleveland did last year, right? So
oh boy.
Cleveland traded up with the Jags, I guess. Let's go to NFC East. We got about 10 more minutes here. Again, Eagles, they got 9 picks. They actually got a lot of picks, which I was kind of surprised at. Kind of up and down all throughout the draft. They've got plenty of picks. They did get some picks from Atlanta. And then, to me, their offensive line, as good as it's been their stud forever. Johnson's getting older, and it's like when he goes out, like they can't protect Hurts anymore. So I think they're going to eventually draft O-line. Their wide receiver core is, obviously really good, but the depth is the question. And they did address cornerback in the free agency with your guy Woolen. So I still think they're going to have to get more guys, though. And knowing that Philly, they're always going to get a pass rusher. So what do you think, Sean? I think these guys what's their greatest need? And they have plenty of picks to address.
I think they'll get a pass rusher first. I think they do need to address that. They do need another cornerback. I could see them addressing that in the earlier rounds as well, but I believe a pass rusher will go first. And if the Eagles want to succeed again, they need to throw the ball more. They got away from their game that won them the Super Bowl a couple of years back. They weren't the same offense last year. That was clear. Whether it was the play calling or the execution, that was just not the same solid team or offense that would throw everything at you. You wouldn't know what to prepare for. That wasn't them last year, and that's why they made such an early playoff exit. So they need to address the defense. They need to get better on offense too if they want to compete with the other top tier teams in the NFC. So let's see how they address their offense going forward too.
Zell?
Yeah, I agree with Sean. Like, I did not see the ball get thrown much last season, and there was a reason behind that. And I'm not going to blame everything on the offensive coordinator, but you have certain people on this team that needs to really train in the all season together and get that kumbaya moment back that won the championship. Because what I seen last year was terrible. I mean, terrible. Like when you go against the 49ers, and I knew they was going to lose that game because the 49ers were more of a team than the Eagles were. And they need help. They don't need help professionally. They need help as a team. So I hope the Eagles can get their situation together. They got a new offensive coordinator, which Sirianni should put things in check. Like, come on, man. You're the coach. You're losing control of your team. You have two good wide receivers in Devontae Smith and Brown. And then you have a fantastic running back in Saquon. And even Saquon wasn't even getting that explosiveness like we've seen the year before because of the offensive line and the quarterback situation. Like, I'm tired of tush push, man. Stop doing the tush push. Everybody knows that move. The Bears exposed that, and you still did it. So I hope this team can bounce back and hopefully contend.
You're exactly right. The fact is they just need to gel as a team more.
That's Sirianni, man. I'm telling you, he's the what is it? The worst best coach ever, the best worst coach ever. I don't know what to say, but he somehow won a Super Bowl and got there. So we'll go to the next couple teams because we run out of time. But do you think they'll draft a QB in this draft? Not necessarily the top, but maybe get somebody who could possibly be a second or third round guy that could step in if Hurts struggles again this year.
If they do, I don't see it being in the second and third round, to be honest, because of the more pressing needs they have. If they do it, it'll be in the fourth round or beyond.
Yeah, lower
project guy.
Yep.
All right, if Tip was here, he talked 2 hours about the Cowboys, but the Cowboys have 8 picks. They do have some extra picks in the first round. They have 12 and 20 from the Green Bay trade, so they can make an impact here. I think they still need running back. To me, the offense really wasn't the problem. Williams, obviously, they did re-sign him, but he's not electric, so they certainly could get an electric type running back to pair with him. Defense, any pass rush. I mean, they did address it some. Gary came in via trade. Obania, I think that's who you said, with the Chargers corner. So they addressed some things in free agency, but that defense has been not as good, obviously, with Micah leaving. What do you think, Zell? What do you think their greatest need for this team is?
They need to focus on their defense because last year, every time I seen they were up, their defense let them down. Yeah. And I'm not going to blame everything on Dak. everybody's been blaming everything on Dak for the past few years. They've been blaming it on the offense. They blame it on the defense. Like, come on. They keep saying this is America's favorite team. I don't know why y'all keep saying that.
It gets old after a while. You think
it really does. Like, I don't know why y'all keep showing them on TV. Like, I do not want to see this team. Like, I get it. Jerry is paying these broadcasters the money. Like, we get it. You think your team's gonna go to the Super Bowl? You had the chance years ago when you played the Rams. You didn't win. Let it go. But they need, like you said, Wegs, they need another running back because Javonte, he's decent, but he's not that explosive. I feel like if they have an explosive second back, they can get some more yards and more production. But, yeah, they need help on defense too. So, hopefully they'll get something in the draft.
Should. Sean?
Unless one of the better running backs in the draft is available, I don't think they'll pick running back with their first pick. Their defense is where they need help. And, like you mentioned, Zell, with the influence Jerry Jones seems to have in the league these days, whether it's on the broadcast booth with the team that he runs, which he still runs the same way, even though they have the longest NFC championship game drought of any team in the conference, which is just horrendous. Horrendous look for Jones. Jones is more of a guy, as we well know, who tends to invest in the offense more. But the offense, like you guys have been saying, isn't the problem. The biggest problem is on defense. They need guys. They need guys in the secondary, especially.
Yeah, they were getting toasted repeatedly. Oh, let's go over the last two teams. You got the Commanders. They actually don't have a lot of picks. They've got 6 picks. They do pick 7th, though, so they can get an impact player. I don't know. I mean, they did address some things on offense. You've got White there now from Tampa. They did get the tight end from Tennessee, Okonkwo. I still think they'll do a little bit of offensive line because you always got to protect Jaden Daniels, the franchise. But this defense was god-awful. Always a pretty good player from Chargers. They got him in free agency, and I guess they addressed it. Chanel was okay. Robertson's okay. But to me, it's going to be a heavy defensive draft. Do you agree with me, Sean?
Absolutely, I do. And you mentioned the need at safety. Not too many safeties get picked this high, but when you're in a team that has dire need of defensive help, like this Washington team does, I can see them making a safety at that pick, depending on, if the top safety is available at that point.
He's versatile. He's a versatile safety, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would see them doing, is drafting someone like that first.
Sure.
To go back what Sean said, they do need help in defense because everything they did in the offseason so far, like Wegs, like you said, they've been very in the offense of lately. And they didn't do that much on offense last year neither. When Daniels went down, even when they had him when he came back, it was not looking like the Commanders team from that playoff game against the Eagles the year before. So they trying to find themselves on offense, what can work, what cannot work. But their offense is really their identity, but their defense needs that identity as well. And I don't know what they did last year with their defense. It was just
a sieve.
Just sad.
Yeah. With the fact that they were shut out 31-0 by the Vikings is what alerted me to how bad that defense is. If you're going to get routed by a team like that, you got issues.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, last team is the Giants. Obviously, new coach here. They've got 7 picks. It's just kind of standard. They've got a first, second. They don't have a third rounder. 4th, 5th, 6th. A couple in the 6th round, but that's later picks. They did get Mooney, which Mooney in the offseason from Atlanta. That's probably a good second receiver. They did land Likely, which talked about that. So I think they're giving him weapons for Jackson Dart, but with Scatterbo, and I don't even know his timeline of return, that was a pretty horrific injury. Maybe they'll go running back again, not that high, but at some point they definitely need some secondary help. They've got great pass rushers. At 5, they'll probably get another legit player. I mean, they're saying Styles from Ohio State is slated to him, like they're Ray Lewis again. So what do you think, Zell? You think that they should just do defense early but still address some offensive needs later?
From what I'm seeing, I'm liking, like, the Giants are being very progressive in the offseason. Like, I think they're addressing the needs that they need because you have Jim Harbaugh there. So that's the first thing. And he's setting things in motion already. He's getting likely who he used to coach. So I liked that pickup. I actually liked that pickup. Mooney he's here and there. He's an okay receiver to me, but
Number 2.
That's going to take some time off of when Malik Neighbors comes back.
Right.
And Scatterbo, the timeline for him, we don't know the timeline, but I'm thinking he's going to draft a young running back, with one of those picks. Defense, he's doing a good job at defense. And I saw he picked up Tremaine Edmonds. So I think they're going to need help on defense because that was one of their main factors from last year. Even though their offense was shaky at sometimes, and it surprised me when they went to overtime with the Broncos. And, I think their defense needs a little bit more work.
Yeah, for sure. Sean?
Yep, I agree. And with a guy like Harbaugh leading you, I really have no doubt that they're going to fix the defense before long. Scatterbo, you hope he returns. He needs to walk back his comments he made the other day on those head problems.
CTE stuff,
They'll invest in the O-line. I see them investing in the O-line in the earlier parts of the draft because you got to protect your franchise guy. But I agree, they'll go defense earliest. And I can see a guy like Styles being drafted.
I mean, that dude ran like a 4.3 40 at like 6'5" and 235 or 240. I mean, that dude's going to be a stud in the
NFL. And already helping a good pass rush if he does with that speed.
Well, great. We kind of ran over, but that was good start. We'll go over each team. 2 more teams next week. We'll do the Norths, the AFC and NFC North next week, and obviously touch on more league news next week. So follow us at PCSN Media on X, Prime Cover Sports Network on Facebook and on Instagram. Follow me at Wegspool on X and on Instagram. Zoe, where can we find you again?
Find me on Facebook at Denzel Smith and find me on Instagram at Windy City Kid.
Sean.
All right, that's for me on Facebook at Sean Davidge, Twitter/X at Sean Davidge. However, I have a new nickname as of tonight, so look for me to incorporate that nickname into my social media feeds. I'll have more on that next week.
Yeah, well, you said you're doing coverage for. You said the
hockey this weekend.
It's awesome, man. So.
Yep.
All right, everybody, have a great week. We'll be back next week to talk more. Take care.
All right, good show, you guys.
Good show.
Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.